the poison that marks the soul. Imagine walking through the sands of the camp of Israel. The sun beats down fiercely, but the heat a particular person feels is not from the weather, but from a restlessness burning in his chest. He has spent the morning murmuring, sowing small seeds of doubt about a companion's leadership or a neighbor's behavior. Nothing serious, he thinks, only words. Suddenly, pulling up his sleeve, he sees a patch of a natural white, like snow upon the skin. An absolute silence falls within him. He does not seek a doctor. He seeks the Kohen. This is where the teaching of the Chachamim is direct and forceful. The Kli Yakar warns us that Tzaraat is not a biological accident, but an advertisement of the soul's decay. When the Kohen looks at the mark, he's not evaluating tissue, he's evaluating a social rupture. The Rambam adds a chilling exegetical note. This affliction was a constant miracle in a generation that lived with a divine presence. It was the language with which God told man, "Your inside is so filthy that it can no longer fit inside you. It has had to surface." The process that follows is isolation. He shall dwell alone. Outside the camp shall be his habitation. The sages in the Midrash ask, why alone? Because he who speaks malice, lashon hara, has committed an act of social cannibalism. He has devoured the reputation of another to feed his own importance. Rashi's exegesis is clear. He separated friends and brothers with his tongue. Let him now experience absolute separation. But let us look at the detail that the yeshivot analyze under a magnifying glass. The Metzorah must cry out, "Impure, impure," as he walks. For what purpose? Not to be humiliated, but to warn others not to approach. The teaching here is devastating. Evil speech is contagious. He who listens to gossip is as responsible as he who speaks it. Isolation is the necessary quarantine so that the virus of the tongue does not exterminate the harmony of our entire nation. When the man finally repents in his solitude, the ritual of return is a map of ethical correction. 2 birds are required. The Talmud explains why. Since the marks come from malicious speech, which is an act of incessant chirping, the Torah commands that he brings birds that chirp constantly. It is a mirror held to his face. You are like a bird making noise without purpose. Then the cedar and the hyssop appear. The cedar, which towers toward the clouds, is the backbone of arrogance. The hyssop is the plant that grows close to the ground, almost invisible. Exegesis tells us, to heal you must tie the cedar to the hyssop. You must take your pride and bind it to the deepest humility. Only when man understands that his greatness, the cedar, is worth nothing without the ability to lower himself, the hyssop, can the water of the mikvah truly clean his skin. Now, let us look beyond the time that connects everything and observe our own hands, our own acts, our trial, and what it has provoked. Today, there are no white marks on the skin, forcing us out of the city. And perhaps that is our greatest danger. We have normalized the assassination of reputations under the guise of opinion. We have turned the hurtful comment into a social currency. But the absence of a physical mark does not mean we are not covered in an invisible tzaraat, that it's eating away at our families and our communities. The real impact is this. Every time you issue a destructive judgment, you are building a stone wall between yourself and the eternal. The isolation of the Tzaraat was not a punishment, it was a revelation. God was saying to him, I cannot dwell in the same place as someone who despises my other children. Ask yourself today, in the silence of your own heart, how many times has my tongue been the knife that cuts someone else's bond? How many stains are on the walls of my house because of the criticisms heard at the table? Am I being the cedar looking down from above? Or do I have the courage to be the hyssop that recognizes its smallness? The world is crumbling, not for lack of resources, but for an excess of empty and poisonous words. This week's parasha has been shouting to us for millennia that purity begins in the mouth. Every small action counts. Every word we choose, every moment we decide to do what is right instead of following our impulse, creates zechut. And that zechut is not just for us. It protects our families. It strengthens our communities. It elevates our brothers. Because when we choose what is right, even in small things, we are not just improving ourselves. We are building something much larger. We are shaping a world with more awareness, more responsibility, and more connection. And step by step, with those decisions, we are preparing this world to be a better place, ready for the arrival of the Mashiach. Shabbat Shalom u'Mevorach.